Good afternoon, everyone. So, in the previous class, we were discussing traditional methods of performance appraisal. We have gone through various methods such as uh, ranking scales, forced distribution method, forced choice method, okay, various methods. Overall, we have discussed 7 of the methods and 2 more were remaining. Today we will cover them first and then start with the modern methods of performance appraisal. So, the 8th one, it was paired comparison method. Here, the appraiser or the rater rates the employee by comparing one employee to the another one at a time. Okay. For example, assume there are 5 of the employees he has to rate. Okay. Who belonging to the same cadre. Okay. Say we are having same job expectation. Okay. So now, first employee A is compared with all of them. Okay. Next. Next. Okay. Like this, each of the employees' performance, job performance is compared with the remaining employees one at a time. Okay. They take a particular job performance. For example, how punctual is he? Okay. Or take one more, another stuff or another job performance. He obeys the order. Okay, that is the job expectation. The employee should obey the orders of his superiors. Okay, so that time that particular job performance is compared with this employee. Okay, if the employee A always obeys the order, then in comparison with these people, in comparison with the employee B, then here it will be marked as superior. Means he gets more positive marks as compared to B. But employee A doesn't obey the orders as much as C obeys the orders. Okay, that time he will get negative marking as compared with C. Okay, and compared with D, if he is obeying the orders, more orders or more obediently than employee D, then he will get the positive marks. Okay, like that each of the employees are compared with the remaining employees one at a time. Okay, and there is a certain formula for this, how they calculate or then see if we go on doing that, there will be n number of comparisons. Okay, it's quite time consuming. Okay, so how we are going to find out how many comparisons we have to make? Okay, for that there is one formula, n into bracket n minus 1 divided by 2. So this is your total number of comparisons. Okay. So take the example. For example, you have to assess 20 employees. Just as an example you take, you have to, the rater or the appraiser has to appraise or evaluate 20 of the employees. Then what will be the total number of comparisons he has to do? 20 into bracket 20 minus 1 divided by 2, that is 120. Sorry, 190. 190 comparisons. Okay, so this is actually the procedure involved in the paired comparison method. They are comparing the job behavior, pairing it with the different employees, various employees belonging to the same cadre. Okay. So here it will give more clear picture about one performance. Okay. It will, though it is time consuming and clumsy and elaborated, because here the rater work is more. He has to do 190 comparisons. Okay. Imagine what if the number of employees go on increasing. Okay. It becomes more cumbersome, but it will give the clear picture about one particular employee with respect to various job performances. Okay. How good he is or how poor he is in his performance with respect to various job expectations. Okay. The one, see, once all the comparisons are made, they are going to calculate number of times one employee has got positive marks. Okay. And number of times the employee has got negative marks. Okay. Then they are going to add them. The one who has got the more number of positives, or the total positive number, who has got it more, he will be rewarded more. Okay. So like that, based even the incentives after the evaluation, after the appraisal, whatever the benefits they have to give, that is also clearly, that also we can clearly get from this form or get from this method. Okay. How much incentive is required, or how much incentive can be given to one particular employee. Okay. If it comes out that employee B is superior in all the job performances as compared with other employees, then he is going to get the more number of benefits, or he is going to get more incentive. Okay. His performance is considered as excellent. Okay. And similarly, assume some employee C, he is showing good performance or superior performance in 3-4 of the job performances, better than 3 people, then it is fairly good. Okay. Not excellent, but fairly good. Okay. Like that, they are going to compare the performances of the employees and find out who is the best, who is the excellent performer. And also based on that, all the incentives, benefits are divided, or not divided, benefits and incentives are given to the employees. Okay. So the only disadvantage or the limitations of this method is it's very time consuming and very lengthy process. Okay. So this is one more method, one more traditional method of performance appraisal. And the last one, it is group appraisal. Okay. So here one employee is assessed or evaluated by a group of raters or group of assessors. Okay. So who are these groups? So here employee is assessed by a group of raters. So who are these raters? Maybe your supervisor, your subordinates, your immediate supervisor, manager, or head of the department. Okay. So these people together rate the employee's performance, job performance. So here usually the superior acts as a coordinator for the entire process, because he is the one who is observing the employee, how he is working on a daily basis. What are the various criteria or job expectation of the various jobs he is doing, and what is expected out of it, how he is behaving. Okay, so he acts as a coordinator for the entire process, but together they will assess the employee. Okay, so one advantage of this is here instead of taking the ratings only from one person, that is immediate supervisor, it's better to take or involve more number of people, hence reducing the chances of getting biased. Okay, so the one thing he might tell, the manager might not agree. Okay, because he is biased, he is favoring someone. That cannot happen here in this method, in the group appraisal. Okay, so here again limitation is these people whoever are involved in the rating process, they may not agree with each other only sometime. That is a limitation that can be ignored. Okay, so this is the last method of your traditional methods of performance appraisal. Hope you have understood these all the methods. So I'll just read out various methods we have covered in these classes. Okay, so first we discussed rating scales, then checklist, forced choice method, and next is forced distribution method, essay or free form appraisal, confidential reports, paired comparison method, and the group appraisal. Okay, so these are the traditional methods. Here we have properly discussed the meaning or concept of the each method, how the process is done, what are the procedure, what are the various formats. Okay, and also along with that we discussed what are the disadvantages or limitations of each of the methods and advantages of each method. Okay, so now let's go through the modern methods of performance appraisal. See, there was an evolution in the methods or in the way in which the employees are assessed. These are all traditional methods which they have been using from ages. Okay, at some point of time, managers found that these methods are getting obsolete and they have to come up with some new methods. Okay. So again, when time passed on, people have come up with different methods. Let's list them one by one first. Modern methods. So first one, behaviorally anchored rating scales. Next, assessment centers. Management by objectives. It is also called as MBO. And it is last one, psychological appraisal. So let's see one by one. The first one, that is behaviorally anchored rating scales. It has got an abbreviation. We simply call it as BARS. Okay. So it is also called behavioral expectation scales. Okay, behavioral expectation scales or BARS or behaviorally anchored rating scales. So as the name suggests, here each job performances. See, these bars have to be designed for different category of the employees. Okay. the expected job behavior of a particular cadre of the job. Okay, for example, let's take an example of a very simple example. You want to assess or evaluate the performance of an watchman. Okay, what he is expected to do or what should be his behavior to be rated as excellent. Okay, so that is behavior. So there will be rating scales. Rating scales, as we have studied in the traditional method, what are the rating scales? There will be 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, like excellent, poor, okay, satisfactory, average, like that different rating scales will be there. But not just rating scales, they are anchored or they will be attached with the expected behavior. Okay, if I want to give that watchman as excellent performer, then what should be his job behavior? Okay, what should be or the expected job behavior? Okay, and I want to give him the rating scale as 4, that is poor. Okay, he is a poor performer. How can I say that? See, usually you just understand the difference or the evolution that happened from rating scales to the behaviorally anchored rating scales. What used to happen in rating scale? People didn't know, or the rater or the evaluator or the appraiser didn't know what exactly should the person or employee be doing to get the scale 5. Okay, the rating scales will be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rater could give any ratings based on his perception. Okay, for one person, the job expectation or the job performance, even if he is doing very little, okay, he may find it very excellent. Okay, that time he may give 5. Okay, and there will be some raters or some evaluators for whom how much ever sincerely the watchman is doing his duty, they don't feel satisfactory. Okay, that time what they do? They tend to give less rating scale. Okay, so to avoid this, they have anchored these rating scales with the expected job behavior. Okay, so if the person has to give 5, then there is a specific job expectation. The watchman has to take rounds at least, see for example, if he has an 8-hour shift, okay, at least for the 6 hours he will be roaming around the campus and checking out, okay, if there are any problems. Okay, and for one, the watchman is always sitting at the gate but always sleeping. Okay, if he is posing that behavior, then he is given as poor performer 1. Okay, if the watchman allows everybody without checking their IDs inside the campus, okay, that time they can give 2. Okay, the watchman is very sincere in checking the ID cards of each and every student entering the or each and everybody entering the campus. Okay, that is attached with that particular job behavior is attached with the rating scale 5. Okay, so like that, overcoming with the disadvantages or limitations of the rating scales, they have come up with this behaviorally anchored rating scale. Okay, so for one example I have already given. Watch example. One more example would be, here I will just write down whatever I have explained here. So here these are the rating scales. Here rating scale means whose scale points are determined by statements. By statements of effective and ineffective behavior. Okay. So these rating scales are nothing but the scale points which are determined by, that is, which are attached to a certain statement explaining or describing effective and ineffective behavior. So what are the scales here? These are the range of descriptive statements, okay, describing behavior from least to the most effective. Okay. So usually the bars format would look like this. Okay, here one side there will be ratings, like this up to 1. Okay, and here rating scales are given with a certain performance parameters. Extremely good performance, next good performance, next slightly good, average, poor, and extremely poor. Okay, you can have any number of rating scales. You can have 5 of them, 3 of them, or 7 or 10 of them based on the job nature. Okay. If the job requires to be more number of tasks are there, you can have each of the rating scales for each of the tasks. Okay. So this is just one of the examples. I'll just read out them. Here they have mentioned scales from 1 to 7 as from extremely poor to the extremely good performance. This is the example given in your Ashwathappa textbook. Okay. So this they have taken for a grocery checker's job. In a grocery shop, there is a salesperson. He's called a grocery checker. For him, they have taken. I'll just read out them. For the extremely good performance. Okay, a person who is working as a grocery checker, if he wants to be rated as 7, if he wants to get the number as 7, rating scale as 7, then he has to perform. He should know the price of items. This checker would be expected to look for mismarked and unmarked items. So this is the expected job behavior. If the person is doing this properly, or if the person is doing it, then he will get 7. Okay, next. For the good performance, the expected behavior, number 6, rating scale 6, for this, the expected behavior is the checker to be aware of items that constantly fluctuate in price. Okay. And also, you can expect this checker to know the various sizes of can numbers. Okay. So next, these are first 2. Okay, let's see last 2. If a rater wants, or if a rater has to mention or rate rate that grocery checker as poor or average, then how he should be behaving. Okay. For poor performance, it is, you could expect this checker to ask the customer the price of an item that he or she does not know. Okay, can you expect a salesperson, if you in general you go to a grocery shop or any shop, is it acceptable or do you feel awkward if the salesperson himself asks you the price of the particular product? Okay, it's quite awkward, right? So even if it is awkward, if that person is possessing this job behavior, then the rater can rate him as poor. Okay. So next, for the extremely poor performance, rating scale 1, in order to take a break, this checker can be expected to block off the text stand while people wait in line. Okay, see, this is extremely unacceptable behavior that can be possessed by a grocery checker. There are people waiting in line, but he wants to take off from the job, okay, for some time. Okay, so he block off the line and goes away, and he is repeating it. Okay, that time the rater can give him the scale as 1, poor performance. Okay, So this is the actual process or procedure or the format of bar. Okay, it is very effective because the rater know what are the job expectations and what are the ratings. He has to just observe the employee who is getting evaluated and rate them and submit it to the HR department. Okay, so the only limitation could be to prepare this format for each category of the job. Okay, so that is your bar. Hope you understood this. And next one, the next is assessment center. So next is assessment center. What happens here? See, this is mainly used for the assessment or evaluation of the manager, that is higher hierarchy. All the methods which we have learned or which we have discussed in previous classes or the previous methods, they are used mainly at shop floor workers level and also middle level employees. But this method, assessment centers, it is used for higher hierarchy. Okay. So it is used for actually executive hiring and also to evaluate the managers. Managers over a period of time. So what actually happens here and why it is called as assessment center and not as some rating scale method or some other method. Okay, it is called as assessment center because all the people involved in this process, that is the people who are getting evaluated, whose performance is being appraised, that is the managers, okay, the executives and the raters and the appraisers come together in a room that is called as assessment center. Okay, where the managers or the managers or the executives are asked to perform in-basket method or asked to perform certain activities, a set of predetermined activities like any of your managerial games like your in-basket activity or the role playing, okay, or computer simulation. Okay, so many activities that are predetermined. So the managers or these executives are asked to go through those activities and the raters will be observing them and based on their performance they are going to evaluate them. Okay, here mainly the raters will rate the managers based on their knowledge level, intelligence, initiativeness, okay, and also how quick they can fix a problem. Okay, so all these things are evaluated in this assessment center. Okay, also managers or executives are given with a group activity, how they are going to behave in a group activity. Okay, like that various job performance levels and criteria and job expectations, job behaviors, what is expected out of a manager, that are evaluated by the raters here. Okay, so that is your assessment center. Okay. So next is very important, management by objectives. Popularly it is known as MBO, management by objectives. You might have heard about this. So what it is, management by objectives? What actually you do here? If you closely look at the even the title of this method, the name of this method, we are managing the things by setting the objectives. Okay, so here it is very simple. Earlier what used to happen, the organization as a whole has a set of goals, set of objectives. Okay, and all the other people, all the employees at various hierarchy, they have to try to achieve those objectives. They don't have their personal objectives with respect to their jobs. But what happens then? The employees, for them it's difficult to understand what they have to do to achieve a particular objective. Okay, let's take one example. Take up any industry. Okay, their objective is to increase the sales by 20% by the next financial year. Okay, so that is the organizational objective. But a person who exactly is working on the sales department or marketing department, what he has to do to achieve that? What are the milestones set for him in that particular financial year so that he can achieve that 20% growth in the sales? Okay, so in this method, the objectives are set for each of the category, each of the employee. Okay, it's a 4-5 steps procedure. Okay, let me just write it here. In MBO, what happens in the first step? Establish goals for each employee. Okay, this is the first step. If the salesperson has to increase the sales by 20%, what he has to do? He has to do extensive market survey. Okay, and he has to go to places. Okay, and he has to reduce the price. Okay, so many things. So these can be some of the objectives for him. Okay, so these goals or milestones or objectives can be set by oneself, by him, or with the help of the superior. Okay, self or the superior, with the help of superior. Okay, so once the goals are set, next is set performance standards. So performance standards are the second step. Means here the goal for that particular salesperson is to, or marketing person is to do extensive market survey. Okay, for that, what is his performance standard? He has to visit at least 7 to 8 places in a month. That could be his performance standard. Okay, similarly, if you take up the employee who is, or the person who is working on a machine, okay, he has to reduce the maintenance work, or he has to reduce the breakdowns that are happening in between the work. Okay, that is his objective. For that, what he has to do? Maintain the machines properly, check the machines periodically. Okay, that could be his performance standard. Okay, if you take the employee or the person who is working in the procurement department, okay, and his objective would be his objective would be to maintain the required amount of raw material all the time. Okay, for that his performance standard would be to check the requirement of the raw material or revise the requirement of the raw material every week, and in contact with the supplier and make them agree to supply the required amount of raw material every weekend. Okay, so that would be the performance standard for that person who is working in the procurement department. Okay, like that, different category of the jobs, okay, different cadre of the job, different set of goals for each of the employee. Okay, so next, the third step is compare the level of attainment. Compare the level of attainment. So you have the goals, you have the performance standard. Now you can compare it. How many times the person is obeying the or following the standards? Okay, in connection with the goals. Whether if you take the example of again same person who is working in the raw material procurement department, how many weeks he is being checking the raw materials. Okay, based on that you can rate him. And the last step would be establish new goals and strategies. New goals and strategies. If you have already achieved this, that's fine. Otherwise, first establish the new goals, and if you have not achieved the previous goals, find out some new strategies to achieve these standards in turn with the objectives or goals. Okay, so once this is done, repeat the procedure. The fifth step is to repeat. Okay, so these are the 5 steps. Establish the goals for each employee by self or with the help of superior. Next is set performance standard for each employee, compare the level of attainment, and then establish new goals and strategies to achieve the previous goals if they are not achieved, and then repeat this cycle. Okay, so initially this MBO, you might have heard the management guru Peter Drucker name, right? He has coined this word in 1954 only. It is a way of management. Okay, very recently people have started using this technique in appraising the various employees. Okay, earlier it used to be MBO used to be treated as one of the types of management, one of the ways of management. Okay, so later they have realized or they found that we can use this for the appraising the performance of the employees also. So they have started using this, and it is one of the most effective methods, this one and the bars. Okay, so this is all about bars. And the last one, that is psychological appraisal. Let me finish off this for today so that we can start with a new topic in the next class. So there is one big difference in all the other methods and this method. Okay, so all these methods are used to evaluate or assess the past performance or previous performance of the employee. Okay, so how you are going to evaluate the future performance of the employee? Okay, or future potential of the employee. What are his plans? How much potential he has to cope up with the changes that are happening in the organization. There are so many things that are happening year by year, right? There will be many changes. So to find out the true potential or future performance of the employees, they use something called as psychological appraisal. Okay, this method is used to evaluate or appraise future potential of the employee. Okay. So how they are going to do it? Who will be the rater? Who will be doing it? Okay. So here there are a set of people who are called as industrial psychologists. Industrial psychologists. Okay. These are the set of people who are going to do this psychological appraisal. They are going to conduct interviews with the employees, in-depth interviews we can say. Okay. In-depth interviews. Exchange of thoughts. And counseling. Okay. So these set of people are going to talk to the employees, okay, by having the conversation in the form of some in-depth interviews, exchanging the thoughts or counseling, and just to know what the person is thinking or thinking about the next year in the organization. What are his plans? Okay, what are his potential? What is his commitment or how the commitment towards the organization? Okay, so all these things they are going to talk and write a report about each employee who is undergoing this type of performance appraisal, and they will submit it to the HR department. Okay, based on the future potential of the employee. Okay, why it is needed? See, now it's highly competitive world. If you are not competent enough, if you feel safe in one organization, okay, then you are wrong. You have to strive for excellence, and you have to work hard every year by year. You have to work hard and show that or prove your capabilities and prove your potential to the organization. Okay, so are you doing it? If you are not doing it, you will be straight away, your job will be terminated. Okay, for that they are going to do this psychological appraisal. Okay. So hope you have understood all of this. So today we have completed all the modern methods of performance appraisal, behaviorally anchored rating scale, assessment centers, MBO, that is management by objectives, and psychological appraisal. Okay, so that's the end of this unit, third unit, that is training. Training I have completed before. Performance appraisal is completed, and from next class we shall start with the communication and human resource accounting. Okay, thank you.